Hello everyone, today is 7th of August. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, in today's video, we will be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper and the good articles from the Indian Express explained section. Guys, please do like our initiative if you like the analysis, as well as please do subscribe to our channel. Now taking up the overview of the articles that we are going to take up today. First of all, guys, into the Indian Express explained section. Here we can see that the status check onto the world climate has been talked about. We will see that what this article is all about. After that, guys, below the article, Supreme Court onto the future retail versus Amazon deal. Guys, it is just a corporate fight, nothing important. Then, guys, the importance of Dhyan Chand has been talked about. Now, guys, going into the Hindu newspaper. So this is the page number 1. Again, guys, here the Amazon and future Reliance merger is being discussed here. Guys, it is just a corporate fight. You don't need to go here because with respect to the constitutional provisions, etc., the issues are not involved. Then, guys, here we can see that the de-escalation between the India and China is happening. So we will see that what has happened here. Then, guys, this particular article, it talks about the Delhi High Court's pronouncement, where the Delhi High Court has said that the child has a right that they can also use the mother's surname. It has been provided into this particular article that the father doesn't has the ownership over the child. So this particular case was pertaining to one estranged couple. So there this ruling has been given. However, fundamental provisions, fundamental rights, constitutional provisions have not been pronounced here. Then, guys, this article talks about the PF, how they are illegally withdrawn, etc. With respect to the UPSC, nothing substances there. Then, guys, this particular article, it talks about the Supreme Court's concern that when the judges are being issued threats, when they are being intimidated, the intelligence agencies as well as the central agencies such as the CBI, police, they are not looking very seriously into this particular concern. So such kind of things needed to be looked seriously. Then, guys, the other articles onto the city page of the Delhi, nothing important has been there. You can skip it. Then, guys, further moving, the same thing has been carried, rising number of cases, etc. Then, guys, further moving on. So here again the same kind of issues and the same kind of regional news are there, guys, which are not very much important. Then onto the editorial page, here we can see that the school children, why the schools are needed to be opened, it has been provided, we will see. Then, guys, this article talks about the digitalization into the South Asia, we will see that what has happened. Then, guys, this article talks about the recent bill that has been introduced into the parliament to amend the retrospective tax law. Then, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the hockey tournament that has happened where the Indian team has won the medal. So that is which has been provided here. Then, guys, further this particular article, it is a ground story talking about the rising number of cases into the Kerala. With respect to UPSC, nothing important substances there. Then, guys, here we can see that the Lok Sabha is passing the bill even when the ruckus is going into the parliament and the bills are being passed without any discussion, without any deliberation. And, guys, such kind of laws later bring so many of the legal challenges. So into this particular direction, the opposition as well as the ruling party, they need to behave more responsibly. However, guys, the bill which have been discussed here, already we have taken up into our article analysis. Then, guys, this article talks about the renaming of a Rajiv Khel Ratna after the name of Major Dhyan Chand, the iconic figure into the Indian hockey. Now, guys, though Major Dhyan Chand's contribution is very much important, but at the same time, renaming of such kind of existing awards always opens up a kind of a dispute box. Fine. So, guys, here such kind of thing has come that the motives of the government were not completely noble. Rather, there were some kind of ulterior things also. However, you don't need to go into that. Then, guys, the Chidambaram welcomes amendment to tax laws. Nothing important here is there. Fine. Then, guys, other articles are political news. You can skip it. Then, guys, further moving, here we can see that Iran and India can play a useful constructive role. We will see that what has happened here. Then, guys, here further the issues are there which are much of the evolving details. Nothing important is there. Then, guys, here we can see that the Supreme Court has asked that what the central government's intention with respect to the tribunals. We'll see what has happened here. Then how many vaccines have administered, not important. This particular article is talking about the 150 years of birth anniversary of the Abanindranath Tagore. We will see that what is there. Then, guys, the showcase page, not at all important. Then, guys, onto the world page, evolving details are there. And this particular article talks about the security conclave between the India, Sri Lanka and Maldives that has happened. We will see it, what is there. Then, guys, further moving onto the business page, the Reserve Bank of India and the monetary policy report. Fine, we will see that what has happened, what are the trends, what has been provided into the latest report. So all this thing is there. Then, guys, other corporate profits, corporate trends, etc. you don't need to see. So, guys, that is all about the today's newspaper analysis. And now let's discuss these articles one by one in detail. Now, friends, starting up with the today's GS quote. So today we will be taking a quote from the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji. So Gandhi ji had said, economy must serve human needs rather than the human beings becoming the fodder for the GDP. Now guys, this particular quote highlights the deontological approach of the Mahatma Gandhi ji. Now as per the deontological approach, it has been provided that the human beings into themselves are the end and the human beings can never be used as a means. So, into the modern economic systems, when the human efforts, human labors are simply being used to bring more and more GDP without looking into the welfare of the humans, without looking into the welfare of the citizens, such kind of economic model cannot be sustained. So, guys, this particular idea we can utilize into the GS paper number 3 as well as in GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So, guys, we can call this also as the Gandhian outlook onto the economy. So, that is all about this particular quote. I hope you will utilize it, and now we will be taking up the newspaper articles one by one. Now friends, taking up the first article. So this article has been taken up from the Indian Express explained section, and it will be important for our GS paper number 3, environment, ecology and conservation. Now guys, this particular article we will be covering in two parts. See what has happened. First of all, I will be telling you the context. There is the IPCC, that is the Intergovernment Panel onto the Climate Change. And the IPCC is a body which comes out with the assessment onto the climate change and climate change patterns. Up till now, the IPCC had published the 5 assessment reports, and into these assessment reports, IPCC had told that how the climate change is manifesting and what will be the impact onto the different parts of the world, as well as the mitigation efforts that are needed to be taken by the government agencies around the world. Now guys, regularly the IPCC publishes its report. The first IPCC assessment report was published way back into the 1988, and until now 5 reports are there. Now what is going to happen? On to the 9th of August, the IPCC will be coming with its 6th assessment report, and into this 6th assessment report, it will be telling that how the climate change has manifested. Now guys, the last IPCC report, that is the 5th assessment report, it was published in 2014, and now we are into the 2021. So within 7 years, what has changed onto the climate change front, that all will be coming out into this particular report. Now guys, if we talk about the last assessment report, that is the 5th assessment report, it was said that the temperature rise by 2100 could be 4.8 degrees Celsius from the pre-industrial times. And guys, this particular thing might make the living onto the earth very much difficult. Then it was provided that the atmospheric concentration of the carbon dioxide, CH4 and N2O, if they have been unprecedented into the last 8 lakh years. So basically this is the anthropogenic factors which are leading to the rise into so many of the gases. Then it has been provided that more frequent and longer heat waves are certain, larger fraction of species will face the extinction, and basically this particular findings, they became the basis for the negotiations of the Paris Agreement that was signed in 2015. So guys, these were the findings of the 5th assessment report, but now as the 6th assessment report is coming, it becomes very much crucial, because guys, now the COP26 is also going to be held. So basically what will be coming now, we will take this particular thing on to the 9th of August or 10th of August newspaper analysis. So basically it is a kind of a primer, and guys, these findings are very much important for the UPSC examinations, because wherever the question onto the climate change will be coming, you can put the 6th assessment report. So guys, when it will be published onto the Monday, we will see that what has been carried out. So please look for that thing also. So that is all up till now. However guys, into this particular article, the predictions, speculations have been made, but these speculations will be of no use when the actual report will be coming out, so no need to go into that. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now friends, this particular article has been taken up from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about a positive news where the de-escalation is going to be happening between the India and China. Now friends, we have seen earlier in 2020 that the confrontationist approach was adopted by the China after the outbreak of the pandemic, and onto the line of actual control, China was coming into the Indian territories, and particularly around the region of Galwan, Hot Spring and the Gogra, there were much of the confrontation, and even into the Galwan Valley into the last year, there was also a bloody battle that happened without the weapons. Now guys, what has happened? To de-escalate the matter onto the line of actual control, the core commander level talks are being held between the India and China onto the regular intervals. And guys, just a couple of days back, there was the 12th round of the core commander level talks between the India and China. And into this particular thing, a positive news has come that the China and India, they will be de-escalating onto one particular area, that is the Gogra coast. Now guys, around the Gogra there is the patrolling point number 17A, and onto this patrolling point 17A, the China had came and they had pitched themselves there. Now the China had said that they will de-escalate back from this particular patrolling post number 17A. So this is a basically good thing that has happened. And now guys, this is actually becomes important because this is the second area from where which the withdrawal is happening, and it shows that the friction might be going to the lower levels. So guys, earlier we have seen that onto the Pangong So into the February there was a de-escalation that was carried, and now we have seen that the de-escalation is being carried around the Gogra coast. However guys, there are some other areas also. For example, the patrolling point number 15, which is into the hot springs, there also the de-escalation needs to happen. There also the Chinese have pitched in. So this is might be the next thing that will be discussed into the next level of core commander level talks. So but guys, by the 12th we have achieved something substantial, that is the withdrawal from the Gogra post by the Chinese. So that is all. And guys, these kind of gestures brings a confidence enhancement into both of the countries, which is very much crucial because guys, the 21st century, whenever we talk about it, it is called as the Asian century, and the Asian century needs to be a multipolar Asian century. And into this thing guys, a cooperation needs to be there rather than the conflict and contradictions. So that is all about this particular article. I hope you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it talks about the celebrations that have started to mark the 150 years of the iconic artist Abanindranath Tagore, who was the nephew of the great Rabindranath Tagore, the Nobel Prize laureate. Now guys, see, whenever this such kind of anniversary, centenary or such kind of celebrations are there, a question becomes very much expectable into the UPSC examination GS paper number 1. So guys, we will be seeing about the Abanindranath Tagore, his contribution to the Indian art, and what were the notable achievements by the Abanindranath Tagore. Now first of all guys, when we talk about the Abanindranath Tagore, he was the nephew of Rabindranath Tagore, born in 1871 and he died in 1951. So now we are going to celebrate the 150th birth anniversary of the Abanindranath Tagore. Now guys, Abanindranath Tagore, he led the revivalist movement of the Indian art. Now guys, basically he had many of the disciples such as the Nandlal Bose, A.K. Haldar, K.N. Majumdar, S.N. Gupta, and together these people, they revived the Indian art. They took particularly the inspiration from the murals which are into the Ajanta caves as well as from the Mughal art. Basically, they tried to overcome the British or the European influence that was coming into the Indian art, which was characterized by the oil paints, many bright colored depictions, etc. Now, the Abanindranath Tagore, he derived the inspiration from the Ajanta murals, as I have already told you, and he used the natural colors and depicted the Indian naturalism particularly. Guys, into this particular capacity, he used watercolors against the oil colors that were being used by the Britishers, and the distinct style of art that he started, it led to the formation of the Bengal School of Art. Now guys, further, the Abanindranath Tagore, he is also called as the Aban Thakur, and his belief with respect to art was that the Western art is more of materialistic, however the Indian art signifies more of a spiritualism. And now the Western art, it has become so much intimidating into the India that the ethos of Indian spiritual art, it is going to be lost. So now Abanindranath Tagore came and revived the Indian art. So basically we can say that its art reflected the synthesis of both Ajanta as well as Mughal paintings. Further guys, he was also the creator of Indian Society of Oriental Arts. Please keep it into your mind. Now guys, when we talk about the Abanindranath Tagore, he created many of the fine works, and his major accomplishments was the Arabian Nights series. And guys, he is most famously known for the painting of the Bharat Mata, the passing of Shahjahan, My Mother, Fairyland illustrations, journeys, and etc. Now particularly the Bharat Mata's depiction was the most important one, and guys, here we can see that Bharat Mata has been shown as a woman wearing the saffron colored robes. She is holding a book in one hand, she is holding a sheaves of rice into the another hand, a mala and a white cloth. So this was the depiction of the Bharat Mata that was first shown by the Abanindranath Tagore. Now guys, 150 years of anniversary is being celebrated, so all these facts become very much important. Please keep it into your mind. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now friends, this particular article, it is important for our GS paper number 3 with respect to the state of Indian economy. Now, this article talks about the recently released monetary policy report which has been announced by the Reserve Bank of India. Now, we have seen few days back that continuously for 2 months, the highest mark of inflation that could be there into the India, that is the 6% mark, it has been reached. Now, the Reserve Bank of India and Monetary Policy Committee has been given a specific mandate that they need to keep the inflation below the mark of 6%, but they had failed. Now, it was expected that the new monetary policy committee report that will be coming, it might be changing some of the things. It might be increasing the repo rate so that the inflation can come under the control. But guys, such kind of thing has not happened. So we can see that the Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy committee, it has voted unanimously and repo rate has been kept unchanged at the 4%. Now, why this particular thing has been done? Because the RBI is of opinion that right now the economic growth is much more important than controlling the inflation immediately, because if economy will come onto the ground, then the inflation into the medium term can also be controlled. So therefore, in order to revive the economy, the repo rate has been kept unchanged. It has been kept accommodative. Further guys, it has also been provided that the central bank, it has retained the growth of Indian GDP at 9.5%. It was expected that this particular growth for the coming year will be reduced, because we have already seen that into World Economic Outlook report, the IMF has reduced the India's growth projection. So it was expected that RBI might also reduce, but it has not done that thing. Further guys, it has been provided the monetary policy committee, it has raised the forecast for the retail inflation into this particular year. It has said that the retail inflation will be around 5.7%. Earlier it was said that it will be around the 5.1%, but now 5.7% has been announced. Further guys, it has been said that right now when we talk about inflation, it is coming from many of the factors. Number one is that there were the supply side bottlenecks which were there because the lockdowns were there, and because many of the MSMEs, many of the industries, they are not producing enough, supply side constraints are there. Then guys, the high rising commodity prices as well as the prices of petrol and diesel are also leading to the inflation. Into this particular direction, the Reserve Bank of India has provided that a reduction of the indirect tax component onto the fuel prices by the center and the states can help substantially to reduce the cost pressure, and by that inflation can also be reduced. So basically the governments need to reduce the taxes. So this one particular suggestion has been given. However guys, the Reserve Bank of India is hopeful. It has been said that the revival of the southwest monsoon is happening. Earlier the southwest monsoon was not that much good, but now it has revived. So this particular thing will be leading to pick up into the kharif sowing, and the adequate food stocks will be replenished, and guys, a cereal price pressure which is there, it will get reduced because a better cereal production will happen. So because of all these particular things, Reserve Bank of India believes that the inflation into the medium term will be coming to the lower limits, and right now economy is to be kept into the check. So therefore no change into the repo rate should be done. So this is all guys what has happened. Now guys, these things need to be important, because whenever you are writing any answer onto the economy and all such kind of things, these particular data authenticate your answer. Moreover guys, it is not needed that very just current data you need to have, but if you have the data of last 3-4 reports also, you can draw a pattern, and onto the basis of that particular pattern you can answer the questions even more effectively. So that is all about this particular article. Now guys, we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article has been taken up from the Hindu newspaper, and it talks about the increasing digitalization into the South Asia, and along with it the increasing digital divide is also there into the South Asia. Now this particular article will be important with respect to the GS paper number 2, the trends into the neighborhood, as well as under the GS paper number 3, the digital ecosystem, digital infrastructure, digital divide, such kind of things will be there. Now, taking up this particular article, guys, it has been provided that the COVID-19 had in fact come in a way of an opportunity also, which had enhanced the digitalization. Into the time of pandemic, we can see that the nations such as Nepal, they had also recorded an 11% increase into the broadband internet use. Then guys, when we talk about Bangladesh, the Bangladesh has witnessed an increase of 70 to 80% into the online sales in 2020. and more than $708 million of revenue is being generated through the online sales into the Bangladesh. Further, guys, when we talk about the India, in India also internet penetration has increased, and many of the facilities are now already are now being provided through the internet. For example, there is a national digital health mission which enhances the accessibility of the healthcare services. Now healthcare services are being provided by the internet. Then, guys, further it has been provided that at the same time there is also a digital divide that is coming into the South Asia, and this digital divide exists because of the many of the factors. Now, guys, first of all, it has been provided that despite the countries such as the India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, they have a largest population, but at the same time there is even large population which is offline. For example, 50% of India's population, they are without the internet. 59% population of Bangladesh are without internet, and 65% of population of Pakistan, they are the without internet. So, guys, in absolute numbers the penetration is much, but in terms of percentage much more is to be done. Further, guys, it has been provided that now the health assistance schemes, they are being provided into the online mechanism. For example, guys, in India also we have the National Digital Health Mission. So basically it is becoming the discriminatory towards those women who don't have the internet accessibility, internet facility. It has been provided that nearly 51% of the South Asian women, they are excluded from the social protections which are being provided through the internet into the times of pandemic. So this is the problem that is coming. Then, guys, after that it has provided that the children particularly, they are out there receiving end, because the 88% of the children, they lack the access to the internet, and therefore the homeschooling etc which is becoming prominent now, it cannot be carried. Further, guys, when we talk about the digital transformation that is coming, though it is coming into the entire world, but there are some specific countries which are at the forefront. For example, guys, the such as the Singapore, Japan, South Korea, fine, the global technology hubs, they are forefront into the Asian digitalization, and the countries such as the Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, they are at the back front. So, guys, these countries also, particularly the India, Bangladesh and Pakistan, need to invest substantially so that their digitalization can also happen into a expedited manner. Further, guys, when we talk about this digital boom, particularly into the ASEAN economies, it is pushing towards an idea of the common market initiative, and this common market initiative will be bringing much of the economic benefits for the region as a whole. And if we want to substantially participate into this common market initiative, we also need to develop the digital infrastructure. Moreover, guys, when we talk about the digital Bangladesh vision of 2021, it even envisages that the Bangladesh will be going into the prosperity through the digital society. So basically all the countries had recognized the role of the digital technologies. So into this particular thing, addressing the challenges which are restricting the digitalization are needed to be addressed. Now how they can be addressed, we will be seeing that. Number one, it has been provided that we need to address all the legal and regulatory policy gaps which are there, which are actually restricting the digital skills digitalization. So all such kind of loopholes in terms of policy are need to be identified and are to be addressed. Secondly, guys, it has been provided that regulatory roadblocks, they are needed to be addressed. When we talk about the e-commerce, guys, the e-commerce are becoming a new normal, but onto the e-commerce many of the roadblocks, permissions etc are there which are to be taken, but these kind of things are not good, so such kind of roadblocks are needed to be removed. Then, guys, it has been provided that the governments and the business, they need to come together and they need to revamp the education system so that the education system can provide the digital skill engineers. Basically we need to educate the common masses also that how the technologies are to be used. Now these technologies are also coming with the fear of hacking etc, so with respect to that also the digital literacy is also to be given. So the private sector and government needs to come together for the education in terms of supplying the labor as well as in educating the masses. Then, guys, it has been provided that the e-commerce, it can drive the post-pandemic growth into the South Asia. So therefore the adequate business opportunities and access needs to be given to the e-commerce for the market. Guys, when we talk about the India e-commerce could create a million jobs by 2030 and more than $200 billion of worth could be created by 2026. So basically the e-commerce roles is also needed to be equally recognized and their regulatory clearances need to be given to them. So guys, these are all suggestions that have been given into the context of bringing adequate digitalization into the region. So I hope you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about the need to opening of the schools, and guys, into the context of GS paper number 2, education, we can utilize some of the findings here. Now guys, what is the approach that is needed to be taken by the government? We will be seeing. Now first of all, it has been provided that the government into the India, it is going for the staggered reopening of the economy. The malls have been opened, bars have been opened, restaurants have been opened, offices have been opened, but the schools have not been opened. As for 16 months, the schools have been closed. Now they are leading to much of the problems for the children. First of all, guys, it has been provided that when the children go to the school, they not only get the education, but they also learn to get socialized. They learn etiquettes, they learn how to wait into a queue, they learn the cooperation, they learn that how the children from the different backgrounds, the values they can learn from them, how we need to interact with them, such kind of things can be learned. And now the schools have been closed, the social contact is being missing out. Further, guys, it has been provided that the schools also act as a source of nutrition, because you know that the midday meal scheme is operated into the school, so the nutritional prospect of the children are also getting compromised. Then further, it has been provided that there are many of the children who cannot afford the online education, and because of that there are learning losses for such kind of children, and ultimately their chance to earn a livelihood will also get compromised. So basically into the times to come, even much more inequality can also come because of this school closure that has happened. Now guys, it has been provided by the aims that into the less than 18 years of age group, more than 50% of the children, and in some instances 80% of the children, they had already got infected by their parents and they had developed sufficient number of antibodies. Moreover, even the ICMR, which released the basically serosurveillance recently, it has also provided that more than half of the children in 16 to 17 age group, they are seropositive, they had the antibodies. So therefore the ICMR has provided that the primary schools can be opened, but before that all the staff, they needed to get vaccinated. So therefore such suggestions have been provided. Therefore guys, into the immediate term, number one, it has been provided that provide the full vaccination to the staff. Secondly, it has been provided that the campaigns needed to be started by which the parents can be sensitized, they could be educated that how the children have not been that much susceptible to the COVID-19 and how into a low risk environment schools would be started. Further guys, it has been provided that the staggered reopening of the primary schools needed to be done, and then there is need to be upgrade the school infrastructure so that a hybrid model can also be provided. Into this hybrid model, the parents who don't want to send their don't want to send their children for the offline learning, they can still avail the online classes. Then it has been provided that into the outdoor classes can also be permitted, which can basically reduce the transmission risk. And then guys, with respect to providing the meals, pre-packaged meal and the transportation facility could be provided. So therefore now the time has come that the schools are to be reopened, and guys, this thing is needed to be told to the parents very clearly that they cannot expect that the schools will provide the 100% guarantee to their children. But if we see the cost to benefit ratio, children are not that much susceptible, so there needs to be the staggered opening of the schools. And because guys, if the schools will not be open now, then the entire generation might be getting suffered because of it. So now the time has come that after carrying the proper vaccination, keeping the proper infrastructure into the check, having the proper SOP mechanisms, the school are needed to be reopened. So this is all the idea that has been provided into this particular article. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article is just talking about the bill that has been introduced into the parliament, that is the bill to amend the retrospective taxation in India. Now when we talk about the retrospective taxation, guys, the retrospective taxation law was brought in 2012 when the government introduced that it has the power that if there has been an indirect transfer of asset, and onto that indirect asset of transfer into the back date, if any profit or the capital gain would have accrued, now the government can ask it. So a retrospective or a back date taxation was allowed in 2012. So guys, now in 2021 the bill has been introduced into the parliament which wants to remove such a kind of taxation power or taxation law. So guys, already on to the yesterday newspaper analysis, that is on to the 6th of August at 6:04, this particular timestamp, we have already discussed this entire issue. Fine, we have discussed it under the light of Cairn, under the light of tax terrorism, etc. So guys, nothing apart from that has been given into this particular article. If you have seen the yesterday, well and good, you don't need to look into anything. If not, then guys, you can look into the yesterday's newspaper analysis. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it talks about the recent Deputy National Security Advisors meet between the Maldives, Sri Lanka and India that has happened. Now guys, what has happened? This particular meet, it was hosted by the Sri Lanka and it had happened into the virtual online format. Now guys, when we talk about the three countries, that is the India, Maldives and Sri Lanka, they are at the cusp of the Indian Ocean, and the Indian Ocean is now becoming a geostrategically important arena. And guys, at the same time, the security threats are also emerging into the area. So guys, when we talk about here, what has happened? There is the Colombo Security Conclave that was initiated into the three countries in 2011 by the then President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now guys, under the Colombo Security Conclave, these three countries, they send their representatives and they discuss the emerging themes. So under this Colombo Security Conclave only, now this particular meet has happened. And guys, under this, basically the four things have been discussed, which have been called as the four pillars of cooperation. Now this is number one, the marine safety and security. Number two, it is the terrorism and radicalization. Number three, it is the trafficking and organized crime. And number four, it is the cyber security. So these are the four pillars that have been discussed here. Now guys, it has been provided that owing to the geostrategic dimensions, the cooperation between these three countries become important, because guys, now it has been seen that some of the irritants are also coming in the countries which might break the cooperation. For example, we have seen that the Chinese, they had invested heavily into the Sri Lanka. We have seen that guys, the Japanese are investing into the Maldives. So basically cross country investments are coming, and as all the countries are having the stake into the region, basically these kind of instances might bring some kind of irritants which are needed to be resolved on some kind of a platform. And now this type of platform has been taken under the Colombo Security Conclave where the meet has happened. So guys, just into the evolving details of the international relations, such kind of things becomes important and you need to know them. So that is all guys what has happened here. Apart from this, nothing important is there, and it will be important under GS paper number 2, international relations. So that is all guys about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. No guys, this particular article, it is just talking about one very brief issue. What has happened when we talk about the India with respect to the judiciary? We have number one, the mainstream judiciary, where the integrated system of the judiciary has been there. Then guys, there are also the tribunals. Now the tribunals are the quasi-judicial bodies which deal into a one particular genre of cases or one particular type of cases. When we talk about the tribunals in India, guys, the tribunals have been provided under the constitution, article number 323A and article number 323B. Article 323A talks about the administrative tribunals and 323B talks about for the tribunals for any other purpose. Now according to these provisions, the tribunal can be created by the parliament, fine, and basically which particular matter they will be dealing, it can also be provided. Now guys, the Supreme Court has questioned the central government that there are so many of the tribunals, but these tribunals are not having their chairmen, they are not having their members. More than 240 vacancies are existing into the tribunals. Now there are certain matters which cannot be taken into the judiciary, they have to be taken in tribunal only, and in tribunals member are not there. So at the end of the day, citizens are being denied the justice. So it has been said to the government that if you are not able to fill the vacancies, please close the tribunal and give this jurisdiction to the courts, and if you don't want to do that, at least fill up the vacancies. So guys, the Supreme Court has asked the government that what its intention is it really wanting that the tribunal should get closed? So this is the thing which has been carried here. Apart from this, nothing more is there. So that is all about this particular thing guys. I hope you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now this particular article guys, it is just talking that Iran and India, how they can play the useful role particularly into the Afghanistan. Now into the yesterday's newspaper analysis, we have seen that the external affair minister of India, he is visiting the Iran for the swearing in ceremony of the new president of Iran, that is the Ibrahim Raisi. So guys, into this particular visit only, it has been said by both the Indian external affair minister and the president of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, that into the Afghanistan we need to make sure that the rule based order comes, and the Taliban or any particular force which is trying to intimidate the democratically elected government, Such kind of things should not be allowed. And here it has been said that the situation into the Afghanistan needs to be predominantly Afghan owned and Afghan controlled. Outside countries with their ulterior motives should not intervene into this particular matter. So guys, very generic kind of declarations had been made here, which always happens when any important functionary visits other countries. So guys, there are 3-4 lines which always a diplomatic message which always comes. So apart from this, nothing important is there. So guys, that is all about this particular article. Guys, I hope that you have understood it. So that is all for the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, please do support our initiative. Thank you so much.